Guess what? You just proved that advertising on podcasts works. Reach thousands of local listeners each week and grow your business. Reach out to Talkin Bengals today to find out more by emailing talkinbengals@gmail.com.
Hello and welcome into Talking Bengals. We're here for another exciting offseason edition. It's officially the offseason for everyone. The Super Bowl ended. Bengals weren't in it. We really don't care, but we'll touch on it here in a couple minutes. So tonight I'm going to be joined by Josh and Nick and Zach if he's still around. He is on the back of the milk carton, so if you've seen him, please give us a call and let us know if he's okay. We're kind of getting worried about him at this point. But Josh, how you doing?
Oh, just peachy.
Peachy, I like it. Nick, how we doing?
Living the dream. Who day?
Well, I guess nightmares are dreams, so that's fair. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into the game on Sunday. That wasn't that exciting. I'll let you guys give your thoughts on it. Nick, you're up first.
It started off being a pretty decent game the first half. There towards the end half and start of the second half was kind of boring. And then San Francisco just decided to let them come back in the game and win. And the Chiefs drive in overtime, they just let them walk down the field pretty much. And it wasn't even the refs that were letting them do it either. So, except for the plethora of holding calls that weren't called on the Chiefs offensive line. And Nick Bosa was literally bear hugged probably 3/4 of the plays that he was in on. But no holding calls. But anyways, the refs, didn't call the holding calls also on the other side. So can't really say too much. Really, honestly, probably one of the best refereed games that we've seen all year. Unfortunately, kind of fair on both sides. But Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, I hate to say it, but you do have to give your hats off to them. And Andy Reid is one. I'm going to head and say Casey just PG rated already. Andy Reid is one hell of a coach. You cannot say anything otherwise. I would like to say my thoughts and prayers are with the Chiefs and their fans for what happened. Of course, this is Thursday now that we're recording, but what happened yesterday during their rally. Don't like the Chiefs, but definitely thoughts and prayers to your fans. It really stinks what you guys went through yesterday while you were trying to celebrate your all's Super Bowl victory. So never hope anything bad like that on anybody, no matter how much I don't like your football team.
Exactly. That's a great point, Nick. So, thoughts and prayers with them. It's a football game. It's a friendly back and forth where it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, we don't like the Chiefs. We don't like some other teams. But people are people and they come first. So definitely a good call there. So yeah, give your support to KC and whatever other the stuff they need from you. Josh, what are your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
I of course had my interest in KC not getting another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't want to see the 49ers win, I couldn't see KC get another one, so I decided to put my allegiance towards Brock Purdy. Yeah, I know. But for the first half, that actually looked like it was going to work out. Second half, love Kansas City, hate Kansas City, doesn't really matter. They have become a dynasty at this point.
True.
Yeah.
True, though.
Can't stand them. Can't stand Kansas City. Can't stand Patrick Mahomes. I think he is not as great as everyone says he is. I think he is lifted up by the players around him. But you know what? You have to give it to Andy Reid, honestly, first and foremost. He gives his team what they need to be successful at all times. But yeah, I was not very happy with the game. I was not happy with the commercials. The commercials were junk. I remember back in the day when the commercials were funny.
They're most of the reason to watch the game if you didn't like the team.
I don't know. I mean, at least when the Patriots were winning all those Super Bowls, you could look forward to good commercials. Now we have nothing.
No.
So
If your team's not in it, you might as well just not even watch it because
Yeah.
the commercials are awful.
I mean, I will say the one thing you got to give the Super Bowl, you had a great person doing the national anthem. America the Beautiful. I didn't know Post Malone could actually sing. That was
He's
surprised
talented.
by that.
Man's talented.
Yeah, I mean, Jeezel Pete. I thought he just could rap, but no, he can rap, he can sing, he can do it all. And then the halftime show, for people of our generation, Usher, Little John, Ludacris, Alicia Keys. I mean, come on now. That's a great show.
And who better than Alicia Keys to come out on the piano singing like that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
That was the best part of the entire Super Bowl. It was funny. I saw something on Facebook. It was really nice of Usher to let them play a football game at his concert. And I was like, that sounds about right for that one. That definitely sounds about right. So I wonder how many people turned it off after that.
What was with Usher's blue and black out jumpsuit or whatever with abs built in? Now I did see a comparison between what they were wearing and the bad guys from Dodgeball, what they were wearing.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty accurate.
Oh no, that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Oh, good times. Good times.
Hey, I will say this. Props to Usher for actually singing.
Yes.
That is the first halftime show that we have had where people were actually using the microphones for what they're used for, and they're not just props.
Usher's a heck of a performer. I mean, whether you like his music, don't like his music, the man can sing, dance, and just generally entertain those that are around him. So, I mean, it would have been a show that I would have paid to see. It was a good one. And it sang all the songs from when we were growing up, so that was nice. Of course, he took his shirt off, which I was not happy about because my wife's like, woo! And I'm like, dang it, I don't have that body. He's 45. He's 10 years older than I am. And I'm like, crap, now I got to hit the gym tomorrow. Thanks, Usher, making the rest of us look bad. I did the outfit that Little John was wearing, and this is the most we're ever going to talk about fashion on this podcast. I promise. We have no idea what we're talking about, so it has to be really bad for us to be commenting on it, unless it's football uniforms. But did you all see it looked like some kind of weird, almost like a one-piece baby outfit looking thing, a leather baby outfit he was wearing? Like, what the heck is that?
Did not happen to see what Little John was wearing, nor did I really care, to be honest.
Yeah,
no, it was bad. It was bad.
I did like Ludacris's hair, though. His hair was like perfectly picked out. That was one heck of an afro, man.
He's bringing back his original look, the fro.
I loved it. It was
Very nice.
perfect.
See, it's
that
taking
was
us
like
back to the good old days.
that was Luda back in the day.
It was a Tuesday. Someone seemed to have hacked into our episode here. Hello, mystery person. Hello. Hello, who are you? I don't know if
we may have a guest here. He's questioning whether or not he's going to take a photo of himself in his picture.
We're not sure about that. We're just going to keep driving on because I guess they're having connection issues, which is typical if this guest ever joins us. But so the Super Bowl, got our recap in. Halftime show is the best part of it. Moving on into our next topic, AJ McCarron's gone. Of his own request, so that's the good news. He wanted to leave. He asked them to release him so he could actually go play quarterback somewhere else rather than hold a clipboard. AJ, we appreciate you coming in. The Bengals needed you. You know, it's always good to see a familiar face, and even though you're part of one of the most painful games in Bengals history, which if you listened last week, we're not going back there again. I will go down the road and I will break your kneecaps. We are not going back there again. No.
We have a guest now. Like
our guest left. But our guest just left again.
Oh, I was talking about Josh.
Oh,
we have more company.
We're not going to make Josh want to break his kneecaps.
Don't make me.
We're not doing it. Positive, good vibes only from this point out. Good vibes only. So AJ McCarron thoughts. Somebody jump in with AJ McCarron thoughts. Go ahead.
I was very kind of happy for him. Honestly, I mean, the guy wants to play quarterback, and he's not going to be playing quarterback in the NFL anytime soon, unless somebody gets injured. Well, 3 people get injured in front of him. So go play in the XFL or whatever that is now. Go play for them, and have fun and let your kids watch you play football. Because he's a good football player. You can't say he's not.
Oh, yeah.
He's just not, an elite quarterback. He's not going to surpass Joe Burrow. He's not going to surpass Jake Browning. Heck, the Browns may be able to sign him next year. And
Wow, it's only
1-year
10 years
deal.
after when they wanted to.
Yeah, so I don't know. Who knows? He might be able to come back and play in the NFL somewhere, but I'll be surprised if he even plays after this year in the semi-pros.
We'll just have to see, but it's a good story. Josh, any thoughts you want to put out there for AJ?
Yeah, I was excited when they got him back. I was hoping that he would do something, but of course, Jake Browning came out, he balled out, and then AJ decided he had to go do something else. So he's probably going to be going to the USFL.
Battle Hogs.
Yeah, he's going to play for the Rock, and he's probably going to be MVP of that league again, or that league as well, just like he was for the XFL. But if he doesn't want to play in the NFL again, he probably should go to the Browns, because we can guarantee one thing: Deshaun Watson will not complete a season. So now
May not even be able to play next season.
Yeah.
There's talks that the Browns are looking to extend the suspension.
Well,
biggest release in NFL history.
Yeah, it was a gigantic waste. And, we don't need to go. We'll bash the Browns as we get closer to the season or when we get really bored. We actually got good content to get to this week. So Justin Riscotti got brought in as the passing game coordinator. And, this is a guy who I had not been familiar with previously. Those who follow Minnesota or some of the other places he's been might have known him. But he was basically a quarterback in college. And then he became an offensive line coach when he got to the NFL. So he was working with different systems and offensive line. So this is really his first venture back into the passing game in quite a while. So interesting move. But from what Zach Taylor said about him, they love his energy. They love where his creativity is at. He brings the same kind of mentality that they're looking for. So, overall, I think he sounds like an exciting guy to have. What are y'all's thoughts on him?
I don't know anything about the guy. But if they can bring in some creativity. The Minnesota Vikings, they've had a good offense for a while. They've had a pretty good team. They just haven't been able to get over the hump because quarterback has been their downfall.
Andy Dalton.
Yes, he has been the downfall of that team. No matter how good the defense has been, no matter how good the offense looks, great running backs, great tight ends, receivers, everyone except the quarterback. So, coming here, you've got a great quarterback, top 2 or 3 in the league when he's healthy. You've got one of the best receivers in the league, another top 10 receiver. And then, whoever the tight end is going to be next year. Coming in, being passing game coordinator, if you can come out with some creativity to get those guys open, scheme them open, figure out ways to move them around, I think he's going to have some real success, and it's going to really help his career. So, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, Riscotti, coming to us from Minnesota, where he was there for 2 years. Before that, he was with the Broncos. He actually won an FCS national championship with James Madison University, where he led them to a 13-2 season with the national championship. So, the guy obviously knows what he's doing at quarterback. He started off with University of Louisville and then transferred out to James Madison. So, he was a successful quarterback in college. And he seems to know what he's doing, at least at quarterback. Hopefully, he can bring a new perspective in to the quarterback room, so that way they can, have some competition there, and hopefully Joe Burrow learns a little bit from him, and maybe a little bit more of pocket presence, maybe. Because I think of anything that Joe Burrow can learn, I think it's pocket presence. I think that's where, I mean, like Patrick Mahomes, he just has his linemen bear hugging the defender, so he doesn't have to really worry too much about it. But Joe Burrow, where we can't really bear hug everybody for him, you gotta. I mean, you have to learn pocket presence like Brady did, and once he learns pocket presence.
Looking for a great book? Check out Once Left: Field of Valor. The story focuses on Lieutenant Damian Shaw, who is pulled from the clutches of death and falls victim to the will of fate. When Damian finds a blood-stained envelope after a battle, he is struck by a series of debilitating flashbacks and nightmares that threaten to unhinge him. The letter leads him on a grueling journey of penance to present it to its intended recipient. Damian's sanity, future, and very life are tied to where the letter steers him. This addicting page-turner is filled with action, suspense, romance, and perseverance. It will keep you on edge to the very end and leave you wanting more. Get your printed edition or ebook today on Amazon.
Gets a little more comfortable there and only scrambles when he has to. I mean, I think he's going to be a lot more successful.
I agree with that. I mean, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, not that we're fans of him in any way, shape, or form, but I do have to give a comment that, he was getting ripped on for his dad bod, and his response was, well, I have kids. So I will give him that one. That was pretty funny. So we're Usher's making us all feel bad about ourselves. Patrick Mahomes makes me feel better about myself because he's just as flabby as I am. And
we bought that darn food. We're not going to let it go to waste.
You could be a 3-time Super Bowl champion too with the dad bod. Maybe. But I digress. Let's get into something a little bit more fun. So on this podcast, we are not above complimenting and recommending other Bengals podcasts. So we're actually going to be using something made by, if you don't know who Paul Danaher is at this point, Danaher, geez, Pete. Paul Danaher, if he knew who I was, he'd be mad, but he doesn't, so it's fine. But Paul Danaher from The Athletic came up with this great off-season worksheet. If you haven't looked at it, you should, because it gives you the option to, build your own adventure with what the Bengals can do. And instead of like, we're going to sign Chris Jones, we're going to sign the top free agent tight end, we're going to sign 5 other number 1 free agents. That's not realistic. So basically, he set up a spreadsheet that you can use either on Excel or on Google Sheets, and you're able to actually look at, with the money the Bengals will have, what do you want to do with it? And you can even pick your draft picks. Some of us picked who we were going to draft. Some of us did not. But Nick, why don't you bring up yours first?
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem.
Make sure you talk through it thoroughly for those that are only listeners and not the viewers.
So my offensive side, we'll start out. Obviously, we're going to have Joe Burrow and Jake Browning as QB1 and 2. I have my RB1. Running back 1 is Chase Brown. And then I think that it would be a good idea for us to draft in the second round for running back 2. There's a few strong running backs coming out of the college this year into the draft that I think that we should probably be looking into, as opposed to keeping Joe Mixon where I have him getting cut, saving us about $5.5 million in cap space. Obvious wide receiver 1 and 2, I have Jamar Chase, and then T. Higgins with his extension rather than tagging him. I say extension rather than tag. It saves $7 million in cap space, but it also provides us a little more wiggle room in the next couple topics I'm going to talk about. Just going to kind of breeze through the slot receiver with Charlie Jones, tight end 1, Tanner Hudson, the obvious left tackle, Orlando Brown Jr., Cordell Bolson at left guard, Ted Karras center, Alex Keppa at right guard. And then I think at right tackle, I think we need to look into the draft and get first round draft as offensive line. I think it's one of our biggest needs on offense. And I think that's where we cannot rely on bringing in somebody with experience and being able to save on cap space at the same time. And then the random guy that I picked for backup would be Jackson Carman, just because I recognize his name, to be honest.
Click on the drop down real quick on the Jackson Carman one, because there's a funny guy in there that I didn't realize was a tradition that every season they have this guy.
Pretty hard.
Yeah, Bobby Hart. You can always get Bobby Hart for $1.
I don't
So
even know who Bobby Hart is.
You don't remember Bobby Hart? He was the guy for the Bengals. It was a tackle. He was Super Bowl season still, wasn't he? Or was he the year before the Super Bowl season that he got let go?
Right back.
I have no clue, Casey.
But anyway, he was literally doing this as people ran by him. He was just standing there like a statue, and people just bolted right by him. So, yeah, Bobby Hart. Oh, gosh, it's always funny. All right, go to your defense.
Defense, I have my edgers being Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard. Edge 3 being Miles Murphy. I think bringing in Miles Murphy on those passing downs instead of having Sam Hubbard in there brings in the quickness that we need. DJ Reader, I picked him for the defensive tackle, and looks like he's probably going to be more of a one technique. The 3 technique, I want to bring in Chris Jones from the Chiefs. I know he's going to be pricey, but I think he's going to help with the run game, and that's where one of our biggest needs on defense is the run game. And then bargain replacement for another defensive tackle. Just trying to save on cap space, maybe even picking up something, like free agents after the draft. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, keeping them. And then linebacker 3, going with the 3rd round pick. I think that you can pick up a decent linebacker in the 3rd round and be able to coach them. Chidobia Awuzie, keeping him with Cam Taylor-Britt and DJ Turner for my cornerbacks. Slot corner, obviously, Mike Hilton. And then the backups there with Dax Hill and Jordan Battle. I think that Battle started being able to come into his own at the end of the season. I think Dax Hill with a little bit more leadership in the defensive backfield from like a Mike Hilton and Cam Taylor-Britt stepping up a little bit more. I think that's going to help him out. Special teams. Keeping Evan McPherson.
What?
And absolutely booting Robbins. Pick up some unsigned rookie or some dad bod beer drinking drunkie on the side of the road that can kick the ball 40 yards.
Hey, stop trying to promote yourself.
Well, take out the drunkie part. And then the long snapper, obviously, with Cal Adamitis. He's been solid. You may not like my cuts, but a lot of people may not like my cuts, but they are mine. I have cut in BJ Hill. I wanted to cut him out to bring in Chris Jones. I think that's more of a solid move. You're taking out money from the cap space to bring in a more solid player, someone who's a little bit more proven and can make a bigger dent in the run defense, especially being able to complement DJ Reader. Nick Scott, obvious reasons. And then Joe Mixon. I have been an advocate for Joe Mixon ever since he came in. Said, forget the off-field antics. Someone find him a nice house to stay in and have nobody come over, and Joe Mixon will be just fine. He's had a great 5-year run here, and best of luck to him wherever he goes, but I think he needs to be cut. I think the Bengals need to separate ties from him and save $5.8 million in cap space. Honestly, if you want to move around a few more dollars here and there, might be able to cut a little bit of money off the Chris Jones deal and maybe be able to save some money on on Awuzie a little bit and tag T, so that way you can get up to that $21 million they have set there.
So I don't think it's a bad worksheet at all, Josh. We're all gonna get picked apart for one thing. So Josh, if you want to critique him on one of those moves, what would you say?
I guess the biggest thing I saw was Cheeto.
Mm-hmm.
Cheeto was probably the worst corner that we had playing last season. He turned into Eli Apple. He had some okay plays, but there were also a lot of times where he just got burnt. I don't see a reason, especially he's getting older, he's getting a little bit slower, he's had some injuries, and he just seems like he can't quite keep up anymore. If this were 2 years ago, absolutely pay him that $9 million. He was awesome. Super Bowl year, he was phenomenal. This past season, it just doesn't seem worth it to me. When you can get somebody that's going to be at that level, that's going to be cheaper. So,
All right,
I
Josh,
agree.
let's see your worksheet.
Hold on, I got to rip you apart real quick.
Oh wait,
knew
Josh,
you were trying
you didn't do a worksheet, did you?
hey, this is about you, okay? Let's keep it.
So I had to really, excuse me, sir. I think you're in the wrong location. Hello. Oh,
This
it's
is White
Burnsy.
Panel
Holy
Van.
crap! It's Burnsy, everybody.
I think I exist.
He
How's my
does.
how's my
Oh.
connection?
It's alive.
So he's off the DL finally. You know, we snuck him onto the roster right before this episode. We're slipping him in a relief spot. So we'll get to your offseason worksheet here in a moment. I got to first rip Nick's. So this team cannot draft offensive linemen. Do not waste a first-round pick on an offensive tackle. And that's all I got to say. Josh, did you get yours done?
Burnsy, what does yours look like?
So Josh, you get a 0 for this assignment. Burns, what is your offseason worksheet look like? This is much like Josh in high school. Lots of zeros.
Hold on. So is this the draft thing that we did, or was this the spreadsheet you sent us?
The spreadsheet, the offseason worksheet.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do that either.
You guys, this is amateur hour, I swear.
How did I do it? How did I do
like
it and you guys didn't do it?
That's because I'm Duke Tobin right now, okay?
It's like
Very minimal work.
Kids over here. Goodness.
Just call you Frank.
Oh,
Blacken.
yeah. I did the draft though. The mock
I did it.
The draft is like we're going to cover that in like a couple months, man. All right, so can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I got you.
Put out now. Better. Okay.
Enhance.
So, where Nick had
Enhance.
$2.6 million left, I went way down, used as much as I possibly could to make this happen. So obviously the quarterbacks, no difference there. I too picked Chase Brown as my number one running back, but I decided to get the LSU band back together even more and bring in Clyde Edwards-Helaire because why not? He's going to be cheap. He could be that rebound candidate. He could have a great time. Why not bring him in? Who cares? Jamar Chase, I think I see more likely they go ahead and extend him if you could. Maybe get him a little bit cheaper before he has another great season. T. Higgins, they're going to tag him. It's going to happen. They're going to slot wide receiver. That's where I see a second-round pick. Why? Because who's going to be T's replacement? You put him in the slot this year, work him to the outside next year when T's gone. So I think wide receiver in the second round. Man, we really don't want to waste draft capital or free agent on a tight end. So Tanner Hudson was mine as well. Nick picked Tanner Hudson. I did too. Right tackle, Cameron Fleming is who I went with for that one. Offensive tackle 3, Cody Ford. He was fine. Well, not great, but fine. Any questions on my offensive side so far? Nope. Cool.
Who's Cameron Fleming?
He is a free agent tackle. I got to remember where he's from now. We did these like 3 weeks ago, people, so don't critique us too hard. But he was one of the free agent tackles. Didn't cost that much money, but he brings some experience. So looking at the defense here, Trey Hendrickson, Sam Hubbard, bringing him back as the edge 3, Carl Lawson. Why not? Defensive tackle, Grover Stewart. 3 tech's going to be your first-round pick because you need somebody that's going to be good for a long time, not just good for a year or two. I almost cut B.J. Hill. I was this close, but I'm like, yeah, we'll just keep B.J. Hill around. Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, Akeem Davis-Gaither, no changes there. Cam Taylor-Britt, DJ Turner for number 1, number 2 for corners. And then Adoree Jackson, brought him in off free agency. And then kept safeties and slot the same. Much like Nick said, Evan McPherson will stay. I'm not going to extend him yet. You might as well just wait till you have to spend the money on him. And then anyone else, that was not an option on the drop down, but anyone else at punter, I agree. I don't care. You can't get much worse than Brad Robbins. I did do the draft pick portion of the worksheet and went to Zach, you remember the website. I can't remember which one we used, but basically went there. These were the best picks available when my draft went through. So for a 3 technique, that was the best one available, is Jazair Newton. Good Lord, I'm mess up so many of these names. So the best available wide receiver at that point, Malachi Corley, who knows? We'll make him. Is he French or is he not? That's the question.
I can't read his name from here. So
It's poorly.
And then for my 3rd round pick, which was which position? I gotta remember what position that even was.
Bullard.
Yeah. Oh well, it's Javion Bullard. I don't remember who I said was going to be the 3rd round pick on here. Maybe I didn't put a 3rd round pick. I don't know. They're not picking in the 3rd round apparently this year. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways the Bengals can go. So what are your all's critiques of my offseason worksheet?
You didn't even go who you cut.
Sorry. I cut Mixon and Scott. My bad, Nicholas. My bad.
First and foremost, I kind of do agree with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The slot receiver, 2nd round pick, I don't know. I think we kind of got lucky with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
We've done fairly decent with picking, number ones. But if you're going to pick a slot receiver, someone who's going to be able to come in and play that position, I don't think we're going to get them out of the draft. I think we're going to have to wind up picking somebody up either in free agency or, I don't know, Charlie Jones, Trent Irwin, somebody else who'll be able to complement that 1 and 2 combo.
I can see that. Josh, you got any critiques?
I've been thinking about bringing in Clyde Edwards-Helaire since the season ended. He seems like he'd be the perfect backup at this point to Chase Brown. Kind of be a nice 1-2 punch. Other than that, yeah, I think we already kind of do have a slot receiver already on the team. I wouldn't think it would be Charlie Jones. I think it would be who's that other guy?
Trent Irwin?
No.
Yosavash.
Yosavash. He's got the size. He seems like he could be kind of in that realm. Maybe not number 1 or number 2, but it seems like he'd be a good choice for slot. Good touchdown machine.
Burns, you got any critiques?
Bueller.
I was about to say, are you there? Are you there? He's not the best tech guy in the game for nothing, everybody. Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. If you're watching this, just everybody, we're going to make fun of Burns. I think we're just going to put some kind of thing on his image at this point. But that's going to wrap it up for this portion of the looking at our off-season worksheets. Maybe next week, Josh and Zach will do their homework, and we can do this again and take a look at theirs.
I just need to get an extension. It's fine. I'll have it done.
Yeah. It's
No,
fine.
Zach, we cannot hear you.
This is turning into some of the best comedy, though. We just get to watch Zach freak out and go, okay, Zach, it's okay. It's going to be all right. You just use sign language.
Yeah, and then we can only see half your fingers because the darn background.
You got to put it right in front of your face.
Hey, Zach, it'd probably be better if we would just all use I don't know, AirPods or some form of an earphone, like these things.
He's too cool. He's got his podcaster headphones on. I got my podcaster microphone. We can't help but you're an amateur over there with your AirPods.
I might be the only one without any technical difficulties. So
yeah, this week you've had technical difficulties before. Anyways, we digress. Let's stay on the rails for 5 more minutes here, and then we can jump into random craziness.
No.
It is the great Kenny Anderson's birthday. We have to at least give him some acknowledgement there. So should be a Hall of Famer. I really don't even want to get into the Willie Anderson snub stuff this week. but both Andersons got snubbed. But right now, let's just say to Ring of Honor member Ken Anderson, happiest of birthdays.
Happy birthday, Ken. You should obviously be in the Hall of Fame with Willie.
Exactly.
Birthday, big guy.
And then there's a birthday coming up on the Talking Bengals team. He's actually right here, and if our special effects department could get his own camera work working, he might be able to do something cool on here, but I don't know how to do it. So, Josh, happy upcoming birthday.
Thank you.
How old are you going to be, like 50, 60?
Hey, just because I ain't got any hair, I'm only going to be 35.
You still have the most gray in your beard, Nicholas.
That's okay. At least I have hair.
Yeah.
At least it's there.
All right, now it's time to go completely off the rails. We've touched on every related Bengals subject. So Nick apparently has something. What do you want to talk about off the rails?
Did you guys see Nick Bosa's video of how many holding calls were not called? Nobody could see your phone.
Yeah, we can't see it. Yep, nope.
Still can't see it. We have a messaging app that you can send us a message.
We can talk for you. We can be your interpreters in this digital age. You just type in what you want us to say. Oh, he's gone. Now we hurt his feelings.
Did you see the Bosa video? I can't even tell you how many holding calls that they missed where legitimately the Chiefs offensive linemen were legitimately bear hugging people. Bear hugging, like the play where Patrick Mahomes it was 3rd and long. Patrick Mahomes, it was towards the end of the game, goes out to the left, scrambles left, and it was like wide open over on the left. Well, it's wide because the left tackle was bear hugging the 49er guy.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
Like, you wonder how Patrick Mahomes has all this time. Well, it's because the offensive linemen are sitting there bear hugging people. Like, and it's on video. You can't not see it.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad game for them not calling that obvious stuff. I can understand the ticky-tacky calls that they don't, want to disrupt the game with, but stuff like that affects the game. That allows Patrick Mahomes to run out and pick up first downs with his feet. You can't allow that kind of stuff.
So, here's a couple interesting facts about this. So the Chiefs were one of the top teams in the league in holding calls in the regular season this season. And in their Super Bowl performances, and I'm trying to look this up on multiple sources to make sure it's right, one offensive holding call. And 4 now Super Bowl because he lost one of them. In 4 Super Bowl appearances, 1 offensive holding call. That is impossible.
The Brady treatment.
And the offensive holding call was on a receiver, not even on a lineman. It was on a receiver.
Bosa was literally bear hugged at least every down that he was on the field. Bosa wasn't getting to Mahomes. The one time he got to Mahomes, he overshot him. But literally, one of the best pass rushers in the game wasn't able to get to the quarterback.
Ridiculous.
The one guy who's faster than all the offensive linemen and quicker than all of them. And you're telling me he can't get around all those guys that consistently? It's because someone's holding on to him.
Makes your job really easy when you can cheat.
I don't know that it's cheating on the Chiefs' behalf, but definitely the refs are just obviously just not calling it.
But yeah, if you know you're not going to get called for it, you're going to do it. It's obvious. It'd be like, if a pitcher puts whatever insert lubricant type of thing on the baseball to make their curveball drop more. If you could get away with it, you're going to do it because it's going to make your curveball that much more devastating or your slider that much more devastating. So as an offensive lineman, Nick, you've said many times you're an offensive lineman. If you could get away with holding on every play, you would, wouldn't you?
To be honest with you, I got away with punching on pretty much every play. I mean, when you fire out, you're punching somebody in the gut every time, especially when they're bigger than you. You got to find an advantage. And I played interior line. Nobody's seeing anything you do in there. I mean, you fire out at somebody, your arm, that's the arm motion is a punching motion. I mean, I essentially got away with punching these big guys in the gut every play because, I mean, got to find a way to get them off balance somehow. Did that, or else you get up underneath their shoulder pads and do the old little neck trick.
That was highly illegal, but it's fine. No one's going to call it because they can't see it. Just like it in the secondary.
I didn't mean to. It just they didn't put their shoulder pads on right.
So that's like me saying, okay, every time I held somebody as a cornerback or safety, but I kept them so close to me that you couldn't tell I was holding them, it was fine. It's no big deal.
Pushing them, and my hand slid up, and then next thing you know, that's their fault. They should have tighter shoulder pads.
Well, fair for that. So, Josh, what's your random topic? Anything you want to bring up?
Oh, heck. I feel like everything I had on mind we already talked about. When I got to talk about the Global Jam comparison to the halftime show, we got to talk about how stupid that game was and how much commercials sucked. Yeah. I'm good. I don't have anything top of mind.
Man, we got to think of something off the rails here. We haven't gone that far. We kept it football related.
In other news, the freaking pitchers and catchers in the Reds organization have already started throwing bullpens.
Woo!
How exciting is this? All right, we're going to go way off the rails in this one because we're going baseball. How exciting is it Jonathan India comes in on a 2-year deal, and they're talking about him playing wherever on the field. He's like, I don't care. I just want to play baseball. All right? What happens when we bring Trevor Bauer back on a league minimum deal, pretty much pay him the water boy salary, and he comes out and wins the Cy Young?
Oh,
again,
man, that'd be crazy.
How awesome would that be? Freaking bring him back. He's like, I'll play for league minimum. I don't care. I want to compete.
Well, that was one that his whole situation, it ended up being unfounded too. That's what blew my mind. And of course, he went to Japan. Like he got sexual assault allegations against him, but he ended up fighting and winning. He won the battle. But then he went and played in Japan. I'm like, of course, you play in Japan after I leave Japan, because he was literally would have been 30 minutes away from where I was. I was like, I would have paid to watch you pitch in Japan. Those guys, if you've never been to a Japanese baseball game, you cannot imagine a more fun environment for a bunch of really stuck-up people. Well, I love them. A lot of them are my friends, but they are very, stuck-up's not the right word, I guess. Rigid and conservative would be a better way to say it. Very traditional. They go buck wild at baseball games. And they will literally, every player has their own cheer. Everybody's up and dancing. I went to a Yakult Swallows game, and they all had umbrellas. They would do a dance for every player with the umbrellas, and everybody knew it. I mean, it was just crazy. But I don't even know how to – college football is probably the closest environment to, that I could say you'd have. College football, college basketball, it's that kind of following for professional baseball there. And it was just awesome. But anyways, I digress. Yes, Trevor Bauer, I would take him back. I know a lot of people are like, no, he's blacklisted. Man, if you can get us a World Series title, I'll take Pete Rose back if he can get us a World Series title at this point. I'll take almost anybody.
That's another off-the-topic rail right there, okay? Pete Rose should be in the darn Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Okay? The Hall of Fame is for what you did while playing baseball. And what did he do while he played baseball? He won baseball games, and he hit the hell out of the ball.
Yep.
And he got on base a lot.
Too many what?
There's too many old heads in baseball that have those unwritten rules or written rules, and they just will not ever deviate from it. And until they just stop paying attention.
You have all this betting all over the place. You want to force betting on everything now, and it's like you literally are keeping somebody out of the Hall of Fame for this, and you're now promoting it all. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean he's one of, if not he's one of the best hitters of all time. Yeah. But they will never let him in the Hall of Fame while he is living because of their rigidness to the rules. It is what it is, and they will never deviate from it.
Rose is the best hitter to ever play
it
the
is.
game.
But what's crap about that too is, the same people who are like Pete Rose should never be in the Hall of Fame. He's a dirty scumbag and blah, 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 are the exact same idiots who are like, Roger Clemens needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire should be in the Hall of Fame. They were juicers. They literally ruined the integrity of the game. Pete Rose, no one said
legitimately cheated.
Yeah, you don't have to be a nice person to be in the Hall of Fame. There's lots of a-holes in the Hall of Fame. But he was great at what he did. He was a good baseball player. He played with hustle. He didn't take any kind of enhancements. Because if he did, he'd have actually been even better than he was. But he out-hustled everyone. But, I mean, you're talking about Barry Bonds. And the thing is, too, and Barry Bonds is probably my favorite example because Roger Clemens, whatever, I don't care. But Barry Bonds was a Hall of Fame talent if you take before he started doing steroids. He still had a Hall of Fame career. But the fact is you chose to ruin the integrity of your career by taking steroids. You don't go from hitting 30 to 40 home runs a season to hitting 60 to 70 home runs a season when you're 10 years older. That's just not how it works. You're not going to get better as you get older. And especially if he was smart, why would you go to San Francisco? You're playing in a park where you don't have that many home runs. So the fact that you're getting that many home runs in a larger park with a wind that can blow in or out depending on the day, and you can literally have the ball get stopped in midair, but you're just strong enough to jack that many home runs, it looks really suspicious. If he'd have come to Great American Ballpark and he's hitting that many home runs.
Podium Automotive is a proud sponsor of Talkin Bengals. In Greater Cincinnati, it's Podium Automotive for all your auto needs. Skilled technicians, quality service you can trust, and fair prices. Schedule your appointment today on Facebook at Podium Automotive or call 859-869-0097.
Yeah, I could probably hit home run on the Great American. It's not very far, and the wind blows out most of the time. But yeah. So Burns, can you actually talk yet?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yay! Okay.
I'm looking up Oracle Park right now.
Looking up what?
I'm looking up Oracle Park right now.
Oh, okay.
For right field.
So our stats guy's doing his
it's
thing.
345 down the line, I believe, and 375 or 380 the right center.
But about Bonds, it's not just that. His head got the freaking Grinch heart treatment.
Yeah.
Head size
three
went
times.
from Burnsy's head to mine in like a year. Little peanut head to freaking melon head in a year.
Yeah, he did go from being a very, because if you look at him in his early career, he was a skinny little outfielder, about the same build as King Griffey Jr., honestly. Different face and stuff, like not exactly 100% the same, but a very similar build to King Griffey Jr. And then all of a sudden you come out and you look like a fullback, like Mike Allstott or something out there. Like that's
that. We're going to go off topic on Mike Allstott here in a minute too. Keep going.
So if you're still listening, thank you. And you should definitely add us on whatever your social media preferred platform is. You can always do it on the YouTube video. That'd be great. But on Facebook or anywhere else you want to do it, if you just go, I'm still listening to Nick's ridiculous rants, that'd be hilarious.
All right. So we're going to go back to football here. We're going to bring it back. All right. The days of the fullback, come on. I mean, seriously, you got Juszczyk from San Fran. That's it. I remember back in the day when you'd have Mike Allstott, Jeremy Johnson, real fullbacks that would go out and block for the running backs or be a great pass blocker. I mean, come on. You don't have those these days. Now you're relying on these little running backs to try to pick up these linebackers coming in on a full-on blitz. And they just get blown up. That's the reason why Brock Purdy most of the time had the dump option to Juszczyk after he did the check block on most people, because he'd throw a shoulder into him, knock him off balance, then go out in the flats. He's wide open, goes run for 20 yards. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it might be an option. Why not? Why not bring back a fullback position into Cincinnati? It would be very beneficial for a Joe Burrow kind of quarterback. who plays a lot of quarterbacking like maybe like a Brett Favre, like a John Elway. You
I'm a
know,
big fan of doing things that no one else is doing. And that's kind of something that we'll get. I won't say on baseball, I promise. It's kind of what the Reds started to do last year. Instead of bringing in all these gigantic home run hitters that do nothing but crush the ball, other than Ellie De La Cruz, they brought in a lot of really good hitters, and they started playing small ball. So why not do that in football? Okay, nobody's using a fullback. So if nobody's really using a fullback, what does that mean? Nobody can defend a fullback because they're not planning for it. So yeah, why not bring it in? I think it'd be an interesting addition.
I mean, try it out. See what happens in preseason. Bernsey, what's your off-topic stuff? Other than Mike Allstott was a beast.
That man would run it down your throat, and it was pretty impressive. However, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of bringing the fullback back, but that's just I don't think that's going to help Joe Burrow as much as you think it's going to, because that's not the style of offense that he likes to run. He likes to be out there in the open, throw it. It's what worked in LSU. It's what's worked when he's been healthy for us. So why change it up? But I do get the point. Like, I mean, that's what made, the Brady years and with Belichick so well. They are always changing it up and trying something new. So I don't know. Give it a taste, but is it going to be worth the 3 or 4 games that it's not going to work? And then we're back to doing what we always have done since we've had Joe Burrow? I don't know. Back to your Barry Bonds topic, though. Right field was 309 to 365.
A little off.
Bro, we had JV players that could hit 309.
Yeah, but going out into the bay, got that wind coming in.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You want to know why he weighed out a bunch of home runs in the bay? It was because he was hitting at the 309 as massive as he was.
Well, fair enough. I was thinking of Dodger Stadium, which is a bigger stadium. My apologies, folks. I don't follow West Coast teams.
Yeah. Well, it's always because the Reds have always struggled in the West Coast in our lifetime. Every time they go out to the West, they're like, oh, here's a 10-game losing streak, and it's usually in August. So
we're going to lose in LA, San Francisco, Arizona, and San Diego just for fun, and then we'll come back.
How about we talk about Bally Sports, or whatever they're called now, actually becoming, I don't know, somewhat affordable, where I'm not paying $50 a month to try to watch the Reds play baseball?
I want to know what they're going to do with Amazon Prime, because I can't afford another streaming service. I've already got Prime. So if Amazon's going to do this thing, like, there's got to be some give and take here. Like, I've already shelled off enough money out to you through, my wife's bank account and everything like that. So let's.
Your wife's bank account? You mean your combined bank account?
Yeah, well, it's getting to the point where I don't watch as many sports. And the Reds, I had MLB TV for years, but they've cracked down on their VPNs. So thanks. Now you just lost somebody else's money, because I can't even watch a Reds game live unless you have, DirecTV or whatever streaming service you want to buy. That's going to be ridiculous amount of money. And I used to be able to use a VPN to say I'm somewhere other than Cincinnati, but they've cracked down on that now, so you can't use that. So now I can't even watch Reds games. I listened to more Reds games last season than I got to watch, which is fine. But, it's ridiculous. You realize you're losing. I can't see what you're pointing to. Just talk. You have a voice.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was just going to let you talk, and I was going to show you. I've got this thing. It's cool. It's called a video cast app, straight to my TV, and it works out just fine.
I will ask you more about that after we conclude the podcast, because I got to find a way to watch the Reds.
Like, I wouldn't mind paying $1.99 just to watch the Reds games all year. $1.99 a month.
Okay, I've been paying like $50 a year for MLB TV just to watch the Reds, and that's fine. When I could watch all the games, or as many of the 162 games I wanted to, I didn't mind paying $50 a year. But when you're blacking out all these games, or you're blocking my VPN, I literally have to be traveling away from the Cincinnati area to watch the Reds. It's ridiculous.
I want to be able to watch the Reds and not have to pay $50 a month.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Or whatever crazy price that Valley Sports wants me to pay. I mean,
how long is
absolutely
it before we create? How long is it before we create a bundle package where you get all the streaming services all at one place, and then we call it like, I don't know,
Utopia.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen is you're going to get all these streaming services, and eventually no one's going to be paying for any of them, and everyone's going to go back to DirecTV or cable.
Hey, let me tell you about this one. It's a newer invention that just came out. They're going to use wind-powered boats, okay, to sail across the oceans. I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy new thing that they're coming out with. I mean, it's like we've never thought about this before, ever.
We're gonna do this thing called yogging. I think it's a soft J.
Soft J, yes.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do, but if you run for fun.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. So, all right, I got to call it. Time of death on this episode is right now. What are your all's closing thoughts? Josh, go first.
Oh, let's just get to the draft. Get to the draft. Hopefully they get some good picks. That's about all we have right now.
Zach?
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
You've already been fined a lot, so yeah.
Yeah, it's going to keep coming because apparently I can't figure any of this out. And I'm going to start breaking stuff. So it's going to be a good time.
Maybe get better internet and move somewhere cooler.
I mean, you know, the tri-state area would be nice. USAREC.
Put it in a requisition. They'll get to it in, 5-10 years maybe. Who knows? Anyways.
I don't mind retirement for 8 years, but yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Nicholas, what are your closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts are I cannot wait until the draft is over so I don't have to keep on watching all this mock draft crap on all the Bengals sites that we follow.
I get
tired of it all.
So, good news for all the Talkin Bengals fans out there. We will do exactly one mock draft. It will be an episode right before the draft. That's the only one we're going to do. There will be no other mock drafts on this podcast or video cast or whatever. We're going to watch or listen. If you're a viewer or a listener, you're only going to have to listen to us talk about the draft for a whole mock draft one time. Talk about the combine a little bit. Talk about maybe a few other things with it. But as far as actually sitting down, going round for round, all exactly one time. That's it. But other than that, check us out on all of our wonderful social media platforms. Check us out on Facebook at Talkin Bengals, on X at Talkin Bengals, on YouTube, or X is _. YouTube is crap. Now I'm getting confused. On YouTube, it's _Bengals, Talking _Bengals. On X, it's Talking Bengals. On Instagram, it's Talking _Bengals. The easier way to do this is just go to our beacons and check out all of our stuff. And that is at Talking Bengals. Correct, Zach? Yep. Then you don't have to listen to me continue to try to remember which one has an underscore, which one doesn't. Just go to beacons. You can get all of our social media stuff. Like, follow, share. And I do have to put out our public service announcement. We are making a push to continue Bengals history, to make the culture even better. We want Dan Horde and Dave Lapham to call the pylon fade the Carl Pickens play. If you don't know who Carl Pickens is, he is one of the best receivers in Bengals history, and he made that play look better than anyone on the Bengals ever has. Go to our Facebook page, click on his highlight reel. You'll get to see 10 minutes of pure awesomeness and realize that, hey, there's been receivers before Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Or if you're the generation before, A.J. Green, Mohamed Sanu. If you're the generation before, Chad Johnson and T.J. Hushmanzada. There was better people, or just as good of people before them, and Carl Pickens. So if you saw the trivia earlier this season, we're talking about it. Who is Jamar tied with for second most receptions in a season? It was Carl Pickens. So why not? It'd be fun. Every time you get to hear Dan Horde call a touchdown play, call it the Carl Pickens play to the pylon. I can't do Dan Horde's voice very well. Maybe we can get him on the podcast. Probably not, but we can try. But anyways, go on our Facebook page, go sign that petition, get as many votes or get as many signatures as we can. And I have really made this a very long ending, so I apologize. Thank you for listening. We look forward to sharing this wonderful off-season time with you. And until we speak again, hooday.
Thought you were going to be the long-winded one.
Hooday.
Hooday.
And that's a wrap.
Hooday.